if I'm looking into a rental property, can I make money within the first month of buying that property?
Yeah, you can make money first month. Yeah. So I'll give you a practical example. So there's a gentleman that came to me last month, right? And he was able to, because again, it's all about the will at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he works at the retail, I think, petrol station. They don't earn much.
Sure.
But he was able to save some money and got himself some RDP.
Okay.
Right. So through that RDP, bit by bit, he was able to build. I think now he's sitting at about 10 rooms.
10 rooms?
Yeah.
From an income of how much?
I think like about 4,000. That is.
Sure.
But you also need to understand that if you are, you really want to do this, and, obviously will take extra shifts on that, to make sure that at the end of the day. Yeah. So because I think the one thing I've picked up, which I always, these days I'm so vocal about, is that as long as it brings in money, somebody rents from you, it's property investment. Like, it doesn't have to be stylish and all of that.
Sure.
Like, I know people who are making money out of shacks. Like, they're renting out shacks and they're making money out of that. And that's property investment. And how you scale it, that's a different kind of story. Some other things, for example, like flats. I think flats, we have written them off. But flats are still, it's still providing accommodation.
Yeah.
You can actually even get a flat for 200,000, even 150,000.
Really?
Yeah.
How do I get a flat for 150,000?
You just go there, property, add property 24, and then you can just say flat. Obviously, you're not gonna get it at Sentin. Right? Yeah. So, because again, there are areas where people are sort of running away from, but they still bring in the money. So for example, when you talk about Sunnyside, you talk about Hillbrow, you talk about all of these kind of areas, a lot of people will be like, we are not going there, right?
Sure.
But are the people staying there?
Yeah, they are. What are the things that you normally advise people to look at before, when they come to you, before they even start the journey of real estate?
So I think that the first thing, obviously, is the how. How you're gonna do it? How you're gonna, buy the property itself. So again, there is the, how do I put it? There's the actual acquisition of the property.
Okay.
In invest when you play the property game, right?
Sure.
So you technically say, I'm gonna buy the property, but not everybody is in the position to buy the property.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I think that's another thing we need to be, very straightforward about.
Sure.
And be truthful about. Because when we come and talk about these things, it's as if, you can start, well, now you can just, it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Some people can't, because firstly, maybe you can't even get a bond, right? All those kind of things.
Sure.
So the acquisition aspect is, what can you get with your affordability, and maybe if you have some kind of a capital.
Okay.
Right. That's where it's the conversation starts. Then you have somebody who says, I don't have any of those, but I like this property thing. I want to participate. So how do I participate? Get to the point where I even have now to own my own property. Right. So there's a number of things. So you can basically get into what we call back-to-back deals.
Okay.
Right. So back-to-back deals is basically where now I can be a middleman to a transaction, a property transaction, and then I can make money out of that.
Sure.
Sometimes it might be on the basis that let's firstly unpack that.
Yeah.
So I come to you and I say, all right, or you selling a property, right, for a certain amount, let's say 400,000. And I like, okay, 400,000. All right, cool. I'll buy that property from you for 400,000. So obviously I've done my research and everything else. And then I go to him and say, okay, I have a property that I'm selling for 600,000. Would you like to see the property? like, show you the property, like you like the property. So I've signed an offer to purchase with you.
Sure.
400. Then for 400. Then I come, you see, I sign an offer to purchase for 600,000 with you. You see? And then in that process, then obviously I must have a good conveyancer and, try to be as transparent as possible in that whole process, right? And then when it goes through registration, it won't register in my name. It's going to register in his name for 600,000 and I get my money. Then I can take that money and then buy a property.
Sure.
So you see, it's another way of building up in that process. Yes. Some of it might be sourcing. So I might source for an investor. So there's a lot of investors that are busy, right? They're very busy. They don't have time. But they want a property that can buy, which is great. They can give you the specs. This is the property that I like in this kind of area. Then you go and hunt for that property. Sure. So again, you find the seller, and then you match them up with the buyer. But obviously, you must make sure that you have some kind of an agreement with that person.
Sure.
Then you do that.
Sure.
So others, it's rent to rent. So I might rent this from an Airbnb perspective. I come to you have a property, but it's been sitting there vacant. And then I'm like, look, can I take it over from you? And then I want to rent it out. Sure. Like, sure, as long as I get my money, I'm fine. Sure. Then I fix it up or whatever the case might be, or I get somebody that can do that who has capital. So we are co-hosting in that regard. Sure. Because I don't have the money to buy the furniture, but you have the money to buy the furniture.
Sure. Yeah.
So you see that then those are some of the things that we can do. And then you are now building up in that whole process to now actually buying your own property.
Sure.
But again, it's just that the areas, that's where it will differ. Okay. In a sense that if maybe I get into an RDP, obviously it must have a title deed, or a flat, like I mentioned, Bo Hill Bro. It's high risk, but you can make it work because there are people that are actually making money in those areas.
How does your company help us with that?
So we basically, because we do advisory as well, right? So we sit down and say, okay, what type of property do you want to invest in? So there's four types that we concentrate on.
Okay.
So we concentrate on multi-letting. Sure. We concentrate on new developments. We concentrate on Airbnb and student accommodation.
Can I ask one question? Yeah. Which one out of all four makes the most money?
I would say student accommodation.
Okay.
If you do it right.
Okay, you will explain after, but
yeah. Yeah, so those are the four, okay. Right? So with the three, which is multi-letting, Airbnb and student accommodation, those normally you push a lot on the cash flow side of things. So it's where there's a high frequency of income. Okay. Because if you look at multi-letting, for example, so you have, let's say you have one house and you have 5 rooms.
Okay.
In a house, you put 4 people in that house. And then outside, then there's 4 people. So technically, there are 8 families there. And then you might have bought that property, let's say $1 million, right? Out of that $1 million, but you are generating maybe 30,000 out of that property. So you see, even if now your bond is 10,000, your rates are 5,000, and then management fee 2,000. So you still technically, if you look at your cost, you will make money out of that. But I will always say is that it's a long-term strategy, of course, right? And then when you look at new developments, most of the time, I think the problem with new developments is that when we sell it nice. It's like it's nice investment. It's like these apartments, they're so nice. And then you can take pictures with them. Like I've seen people with keys, like I'm now a landlord. It's nice. Like, it's so beautiful. Whereas this one, in Coca, I see there with lots of rooms. You don't like take pictures out of that. It's like, Sure. I haven't seen anybody take pictures because they say they bought something like that. Right? But the apartments are nice. Yeah, they're in a nice, it's in Sentin, right? It's great. Like it has swimming pool. Sure. But when you now go and interrogate the cost, the expenses there, the levies are high, because obviously there's somebody who needs to maintain the pool and all those kind of things. And everything else, like, it becomes a cost. So it looks great on paper, it looks great from a face value perspective, but your cash flow doesn't match up most of the time. But if you bought it from a strategy perspective, you're not buying it for that. You are saying because this area is going to keep on developing, meaning the value of the property is going to go up, which is great. And that is why I normally say is that if you are playing a long-term strategy, rather look at mixing them.
Okay.
And because, for example, if I need to supplement by 3,000 on this one, the new development, but I'm making 16,000 profit out of the 3, do I have a problem? I don't, right?
Yeah.
Because I can take 2,000 out of the 16 and pay my shortfall. Then I still have my 14,000 that I play around with, which is my money. I decide whether to reinvest or whatever I want to do with it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
So that's why at the end of the day is each and every property investment type, it has its own strategy. It has its own things. Like, for example, student accommodation is nice. If you do it right, how much the universities pay, it's a lot, right? But you must know that you get paid 10 times a
From
year.
students.
Yeah, I remember in a year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because remember, then they leave.
Yes.
Yeah. So what do you do for those 2 months? So whenever you do your numbers, you must make sure that you have done your proper, calculations around all of that. Yeah. And again, positioning of these properties is very important, because if you're a student accommodation, what we have seen is that, obviously the big players like this, we call them the listed funds, are playing into that game. I don't know if you've gone to Pretoria next to UP.
Bram.
Bram
is...
I learned Bram is better. Yeah, go to
better.
UP. And then obviously your porches and all of that, right?
Okay.
But when you check there, you'll see that there's like very nice developments for student accommodation, right? So these are the big players that have done that. So if you are when you're a small timer and you come in and maybe you are far away, so you see already your cost becomes an issue, because they are closer to the universities or the institutions, so it's easier for them. And obviously they have the capital to play around with and make these things nice and all of that. So you have to understand the game that you are playing, basically. So we advise on that to say, all right, what is your appetite? And then we look at, obviously, okay, in terms of how you're going to buy, whether it's a bond, do you have some cash? For example, with multi-letting, we'll also ask, do you have some capital that, you need to fix up the property to make it nicer, and be able to get more rental from that.
Can you walk us through everything a property actually costs beyond the bond? What do people forget budgeting for?
Yeah. So I think before we even get there, right, there is 2 sides to every property that I normally talk about. And this is the types of properties that you invest in, right? Okay. So the one is buying an investment property from a developer. Okay. And this could be let's say in a complex, right?
Sure.
And then there's one that you'll buy, like it's a standalone property. And those ones normally would be great for multi-letting, right? So when you're buying from a developer and it's in a complex, so immediately when you see there's a security guard that does something and you must get into the gate, there's one common gate, you get in, biometric, whatever the case might be, there's common areas, and you have a unit of your own, but in a bigger scheme of the development itself. So you must know that they are levies.
Oh, okay.
And I say this because we are seeing a lot of people, after the purchase, all of a sudden now they get the invoice from the managing company that says now you have levies of 1.8. But a lot of the times people say, but the agent didn't tell me about this cost. Right? So because in your head, you said, okay, I'm going to get the bond. And maybe there are rates, right? Maybe the rate is 400 Rand. But now we then bypass the levy part, which is 1.5.
Is it per month or is it?
Per month.
Sure.
Because remember that security guards get paid every single month. The grass must be cut, every single month, most of the time. Like the upkeep of that complex must be, it must be there every month, basically. So that's where the cost is. But over and above that levy, there are rates and taxes that needs to still be paid to the municipality. Now, when you buy a standalone property, there are no levies, unless, again, it's in a gated community, right? Okay. But if it's just you maintain your own yard and all of that, there are no levies with regards to that. Sure. So levies is a huge thing. Please, if you buy apartments, make sure that you cater for those things. The other thing is that if you're not going to manage that property yourself, and then you're going to ask like Gavin and GavShaw to do that for you, we're going to charge you a fee, right?
Okay.
Rental management fee every single month. So it could be 10% or whatever. Obviously, you can negotiate with the rental agents.
Okay.
That's a cost. And then the huge cost that I see people underplay, it's maintenance cost.
Okay.
Now, why I say it's under, I would say maybe under-mentioned or underrated, is because somehow when we do our numbers, we don't factor it in. Because in essence, most of the time, you actually need to maybe put away, let's say 5% every single month for maintenance costs. And now, depending on I would say maybe the age of the property, so if you're buying an older property, so obviously the cost becomes more because it's an older property. So the roof might, especially like maybe your standalone properties, the roof might be old. So you might need to fix the roof. At some point, you might even need to change the roof, right? The piping might be 19 Maibabo, right? So all of those things needs to maybe be maintained. You now need to bring in more things. Electrical, that's another big thing that we see. So people don't cater for those things. And now you might be making a profit. However, the maintenance cost might then eat at the profit.
Okay.
So that at the end of the day, now you are not making money out of that property.
Sure.
If, of course, when you went into that particular property, it was to make money. Because that's where I talk about a strategy when you are investing in property. There is the cash flow, and then there's capital appreciation. So cash flow is like multi-letting. So meaning that when I look at my cash flow, my cost versus my expenses, you now have the cost becoming more, the income becoming more, and the cost of my running expenses and all of that becoming less.
Okay.
So when I minus my cost against my income, I'm making a profit.
Sure.
But normally with the properties that are more geared towards capital appreciation. So what do I mean by capital appreciation? Is you are buying a property, let's say from a future value perspective. So you're not even buying the property, you are buying maybe the area, right? So you might be like, there's a new development coming in Cosmo, for example, right? So if you drive to Lanzeria, you see that, man, there's a lot of, there's an industrial activity that is happening.
Sure.
So a lot of factories, a lot of warehouses. So obviously there's going to be a lot of people being employed there. So meaning that now the need for accommodation goes up. And then what does, obviously there's a demand. That means that it equates to the property prices going up.
Yeah.
So now I might be buying at 500,000 today, but because I can see where this thing is going in the next 3 years, I might be sitting at 800,000. So now I have equity of 300,000.
You say you call that capital what?
Capital appreciation.
Appreciation. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Right. So then I now have 300,000. Then I can sit and say, okay, I have 300,000. What do I do with this 300,000? Do I refinance if I've taken a bond? Because I can go back to the bank and say, can you borrow me that 300,000? Because the value of my property has gone up. Okay. When I came to you, I bought for 5, but now it's sitting at 8. So I want to borrow against that 300,000. So it's another word, it's called a feather bond.
Okay.
So then I can take that 300,000, maybe go and buy a flat in Sunnyside for 300,000, and then you put a tenant there, but you bought it cash. You see.
Okay.
So those are the things that. So the cost in itself, you can't look at it in isolation of the strategy.
Okay.
Because I see that's where the problem is. Yeah. So it's either a person looks at the strategy but doesn't look at the cost. So those two things for me are inclusive.
Sure.
Yeah. But the first part is, what is the strategy? So when I buy into that property, what am I going to gain? Yeah.
Okay.
So what are my numbers at the end of the day? Because that's where you need to look at the numbers. And again, it's your maintenance cost. The other aspect, it might be to say, all right, if I don't have a tenant for that 1 month, do I have money to supplement? Because the bond still needs to go off. I still need to pay levies if it's in a complex.
Sure.
I need to still pay the rates. So do I have some kind of, liquidity, some money somewhere that can help me to then pay for that property whenever there is no tenant? And again, your strategy comes in play, because maybe if you bought into a multi-let, it's a one house, but there's 7 families. So even if you don't have one tenant, you are still fine.
Okay.
But a lot of the times, your cash flow properties don't necessarily appreciate in value. So you can't necessarily then go and refinance them.
Well, what do you mean they can't appreciate in value?
So meaning that, so when I talk about a capital appreciation, so remember I said that you are buying more of a future value.
Yes.
Right? You look at the activity of an area.
Yeah.
Right? So a lot of the areas in which where we do multi-letting, it's not as if the area is growing that much.
Okay.
Right? Especially if you look at, let's say, the townships, townships depending where.
Sure.
Some of them are just like the price is just going up and up. Some of them you find that the prices are stagnant. However, there is a high appetite of rental income.
Okay.
Right? So meaning that maybe it might be next to maybe factories or maybe malls, right? But it doesn't necessarily equate to the appreciation in the value of the properties. Okay. But in terms of the rentals, there's people all the time.
Sure.
But it's not as if like the property that you bought it for now at 800, you can go and sell it for 1.2.
Okay.
Yeah. So you always need to understand those kind of dynamics. And then sometimes, a lot of the times, the properties where there's huge appreciation in the value, it's in terms of the rental aspect of it, it's not as if like it increases that much. It's just the value of the property increases like crazy.
Okay.
Yeah, but the rental, it's just okay.
Okay.
So now meaning that if now you go and buy a bond, like you buy that property via a bond, your bond is high, but your rental income is low.
Okay.
Then you have a shortfall. So shortfall normally when we now say, all right, I bought this property for 1.4, but my bond is my rent is 10,000.
Sure.
So how much is my bond? Let's say it's sitting at 14,000. So already you are out by 4,000. And we haven't even touched levies, rates, rental management fees, and all of that.
Sure.
So it means that you now need to supplement from your own pocket. So the question is that now, when you look at the value appreciation, is it healthy enough to justify the money that I'm putting into this investment every single month? Because if, let's say, it's going to double in the next 3 years, 5 years, then maybe. So when you look at how much it is appreciated by and what I've put in, it's still far off. So I'm still good to go in that regard.
Sure.
Yeah.
But how do I deal with the tenants that don't want to pay me?
Obviously. Remember, an issue of tenants is everywhere. There's somebody who is renting right now for 30,000 and they've been paid for 6 months.
Oh. But what is the solution?
So remember the solution on it it's from a management perspective, right? So we, for example, we understand different markets, right? So I deal in the informal, I deal in the formal market, right? So informal market is So when we talk about multi-letting, a lot of it is informal. So meaning that you have a lot of Uber drivers, it's retail people, because then your rental is around your 1.5, 2,000, 3.5, 4,000, right? So it caters more on the lower side of the economy. That's why I normally classify it as informal, because even from a vetting perspective, you have a problem where a lot of the times people will say, have you vetted that person? In terms of vetting, I must check your credit profile, I must check your, all these kind of things.
Sure.
Now, immediately when you do that, you're not gonna fill up that place. You're gonna struggle.
Yeah.
Right? And depending where it is, you are going to struggle, because there are areas where, like, literally the people that rent with those particular apartments are just people who are doing Ubering. And a lot of the Ubering people that I've met, it's just an informal business.
Sure.
It's money going into my account and that's it. Right? I don't have, a lot of them even get shocked with it, but have you thought about making it a business? Registering that into a business, having a business account and having an accountant and all of that. And like, So a lot of them, they run it informally.
Sure.
So from a normal vetting, it means that I must do your credit check on your TPNs, send me your bank statements, send me your salary slips for 3 months. You understand?
Yeah.
Now, where do you get that from, that kind of a person?
Yeah.
So you now need to have some kind of a metrics to vet those people without necessarily asking for all of those things. And how you manage them is very, very important. And it also goes back to the issue of maintenance. What I've picked up is that if you can have a good kind of understanding with your tenants, so first of all, they must not think you are an idiot. And first of all, they must not be scared of you. So you must find the middle ground there, which is respect. Sure. Right. So then there must be an understanding to say, look, I'm going to provide services like this, and then you play your part. You keep the property great and all of that. And then, of course, when you have that understanding, you'll find that a lot of the times the guys will respect the property. Sure. Like we run mostly, I think most of the time we run it at 100% collection rate. And it's because how we... Like, you'll have a lot of the guys that have stayed in our properties for more than 2 years. A lot of them think it's my property or it's our property. The ones that are not our properties, right? And then they'll be shocked. It's like, no, but we're just an agent. Why? Because how we run it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we don't run it from a third-party perspective, which I think some of the agencies, that's where the mistake is. Because it's like, I will talk to the landlord.
Okay.
I'll see what the landlord says.
Okay.
So already then there's an issue.
Yeah.
And the turnaround time of fixing the problem takes long. Like, it's long. And then whenever it's long, I have an issue with my electricity now.
Yeah.
Then you tell me that you're still going to talk to the landlord.
Yeah.
Sure.
You see the problem.
Yeah.
Then it's going to take 3 days because maybe the landlord is traveling.
Yeah.
And I'm paying rent.
I'm paying rent. And then we're going to fix it after 4 days.
Sure.
If you're going to fix it after 4 days. So already there, then why should I pay you in time?
Yeah, true.
And sometimes it's the issues in the inception and the signing of the form.
Yeah.
When they are asking where my kids learn, why do they ask such things? Where my kids learn, I understand how many people is necessary. Okay, there's 3 people going to be living here, but why are you asking where this one learns? Why are you asking what type of teacher they have?
So look, I think it's different metrics that people use. Like I don't like to make it complicated.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't. We don't make it complicated, and our guys know we don't make it complicated, and that is why how we relate to our tenants is very important. Because once you simplify it, don't make it technical. Make it simplify it. As long as they know that you are there for them, right? They know their obligations.
Yeah.
Right, and that's it. If something gets broken, you fix it. Right? If they fix something, they break something, they fix it. Right? Like, and you can imagine, I think this also was helped by managing multi-lets, because I also say that managing multi-let properties and managing like an apartment or one family, kind of properties where they rent, it's different.
Sure.
Right? Think about this. Ne? You have one property. You have 10 families that stays there. They're from different backgrounds.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like I have a property where I have white people, I have like colored people, black people in one property. So you have a rainbow nation in one property. They have families.
Yeah.
Sure.
Right? So you now need to, firstly, from a moment of pairing them together,
Yeah.
that is a science. Because I can't pair somebody who is extremely Christian and then somebody who's Illuminati.
But
In
how
one
do you
property.
bridge that gap? How do you bridge that gap? Because when I sign,
Now imagine what's going to happen.
I know. That's why I'm asking. How do you bridge that gap? Because it's yeah. I can imagine. But how do you know such things? Is what I wanna know.
So I think it, and that is why for me it's very important to have that 10 minutes, 15 minutes conversation.
Okay.
And I know, I don't know, because I've done coaching. Maybe I took the coaching aspect and then I applied it here.
Okay.
But I can pick up the kind of a person you are in 10 to 15 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Not
All
deeper,
right. Yeah,
but I'll have
sure.
an understanding.
Okay.
So then I've trained my team to do that as well.
Yeah.
All right. Because I'll tell you, like there's a couple of times where the person will like, look, I'm paying now. And I'm like, okay, let me get back to you. I'll send you the details later. I never send the details later.
Why?
Because already by me having a conversation with you, I can pick up like, you're not gonna fit here. It's either, so there's different scenarios. Yeah. Sometimes is you are a great tenant. You're gonna be a great tenant.
Just not here.
But not with these kind of people. So if it was an apartment of your own, it was gonna be fine. So let me make an example.
Sure.
If it's a communal style of living, right? So meaning that it's a house, it has 4 bedrooms, and then we are renting out those 4 bedrooms,
sure.
Right? Those people need to coexist.
Yeah.
Right. So now, if I put somebody who loves to wake up through music,
Oh,
True.
and then I have somebody who loves peace,
That's going to be a problem.
is it gonna work? They're gonna stress me. They're gonna call me that one is gonna call me every single day. Like, can you please talk to this person because they're making a noise? If I put somebody who's in OCD,
yeah.
and then I put them with somebody who is like clumsy, they never clean nothing.
Yeah.
Is it gonna work?
No. But it might. That one, eh?
Yeah, it doesn't work.
That one might.
It doesn't.
You know, it's a thing, Hore. Okay, now I'm getting to the details of OCD. There are those that will clean for that person.
Yeah, but remember, it becomes my problem.
Okay. Yeah.
Because now she or he will call me all the time.
Yeah.
Unless if it's still multi-letting, but they have their own
room.
The only issue
still,
that we're gonna fight with is the yard.
Yeah, that's still.
Then it's fine.
But still, yeah, they're gonna
then I
fight.
can sort out the yard, but not the bathroom.
Oh,
you get what I'm saying? Yeah, because the bathroom is an issue. Yeah. It's like we born OCD people bathrooms. But now communally you have to share the bathroom.
Yeah,
that's where the problem is. So you actually do a psychoanalysis on those people.
Sure.
In that first 15 minutes, I'll see, and then have an understanding. Then the pairing comes in. Okay. Once you get them paired up, it's fine. They'll still fight. They'll still have issues. It's a family. But it's not going to be every day. It's not going to be every month. Yeah. And then they're going to somehow try and fix it.
Sure.
And that's why you also need to be able to, within the tenants that are there, in the multi-letting, you always need to pick the one that is a leader.
Okay.
Again, it's a scale.
But can the picking of the leader, you pick your own, and then does it happen that they also pick their own subconsciously? Not to hurry, they say Mr. Gav is going to lead, but in a subconscious level, that it's going to be Josh.
So you pick them, but
Yeah.
you don't necessarily tell them that you pick them.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's what I mean.
Yes, but
Okay.
but remember, leaders automatically, a lot of the times, they will come up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of the things that they do,
Sure.
they will take the initiative to say, guys, there is, we need to go and pick up.
Sure.
The rubbish hasn't been taken outside. The what, you'll see a leader.
Sure.
Yeah, anywhere you're gonna. So I identify those leaders, but I don't go and say, all right, now Josh is gonna be your leader.
Sure.
No. I say, okay, guys, you are a family. That's why I don't even make the rules. I have standard rules, obviously,
Yeah.
but I don't go and say I'm gonna enforce these rules. No, I say amongst you, come together and then have an understanding in terms of how you guys want to live.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you pass it on to them.
Sure.
Yes. Well, just maybe if it comes and then there's issues and then you come in, that's it. Because if you come, that's another mistake that I see. Whether it's the landlords that are doing it for themselves or rental managers, they don't want to force these things upon people. They live there. You're not there every
Yeah.
day, unless if you live there yourself.
Yeah.
So you're not there, but you want to tell us how to live.
Sure.
You get what I'm saying? So that's where the problem is.
Yeah.
But if they feel like they're in control, they feel like they are riding this thing, then it's fine.
Yeah.
And you have no issues, because then they can't come and cry because you say, but I said you guys work together. I'll only come if it's like blows up and we can see like
It's too much.
yeah. And a lot of the times it doesn't get to that point.
Sure.
A lot of the times you don't even know what's going on. And she's like, how you guys have this one does this, that, yeah. Oh, okay.
I'm
Well, it's just that,
but yeah.
but it's making
It's
mad.
making mad.
It's
And there are
making
many
mad.
people
Yeah.
coming out and going.
Going in. Yeah.
Hey, my problem is the tenants.
Yeah.
The tenants,
Yeah.
what are the problems?
They don't want to pay now.
Switch off electricity.
Switch off electricity.
So, but they're still. I can Pella. They look at you. It's like, when?
Yeah.
Okay. Pella, people look at you.
They like this one.
Share. Because, like, again, it's you. Like, you can't be formal in an informal market.
True.
Already, if you start talking about, let me see your pay slips. Let me what in an informal market.
Sure.
They're like this one.
Sure.
Weak.
Yeah.
Because immediately when it's like already I'm telling you, Bonnie, this is how we work here at home. Yeah, what? Yeah. So pay on time. Don't have problems. Yeah. Like
Sure.
Sometimes it's like people don't even know there's the other side.
Yeah.
To me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Very sweet, but
Yeah.
there's the other side.
Okay.
Yeah, because you have to be
Both.
flexible. Yeah, in the formal you have to be formal because it becomes an issue.
Sure.
Yeah, there's processes and there's all of these things and so you must know where you are playing.
Sure.
Yeah, then you'll be fine.
So, when it comes to what if I want to outsource maintenance? Can I do that with Gav International?
Absolutely. We have a plan coming up for maintenance. It's called Gav Shop Prop Fix plan. It's really designed for property investors because we've picked up that your maintenance is a huge cost. So with that, we are able to. It's going to be a subscription model.
Okay.
Amazing. It's going to be. I really feel that it's going to be a game changer.
Okay.
It's really also I even call it a maintenance stokvel.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's like club in, let's help each other type of thing. Yeah, so then there'll be great benefits on that. But it's also just to make sure that at the end of the day, your property is well maintained, the turnaround time is good, and you have guarantee of the work that is done, but also then get reports of what needs to be fixed when, so that at least, because remember, at the end of the day, that's an asset that you need to maintain.
Sure.
It must give you money for as long as you have it.
Sure.
So you need to make sure that everything, it's like a car.
Yeah.
The more you maintain it, then you don't have
better.
issues.
Yeah. Okay, so if I have 100,000 now that I've saved up, right? Can I simply come to you and tomorrow I wake up as a property investor?
Yeah, you can get properties. 90,000.
90,000.
Yeah. It's all about way.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's all about way.
So, but the way do I have to figure it out for myself?
We'll help you with that part.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll help with that part. Yeah.
Okay.
And if you don't like the way.
Okay, we check until we find.
No, I'm saying, Akiri, it's like he has problems with Hill, you know. So it's like you get your property. It's that's what the 100,000 can afford,
Yes.
and we understand that. But is there nowhere else I can get it?
So look, I think in that part, I normally say, don't make it about you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not about you.
Sure.
Like I a lot of investors lose mine unnecessary because it was about them. And again, I'm not putting a blanket approach to it because the levels in which you play in are not the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that when you play at the upper level, you can say that I know if I won't stay here. If I won't stay in a place, I won't invest in it because it's an upper level.
Sure.
And then there's a level of, class. Some people want to bring their own class in that level.
Okay.
And then if you have the class, then it's good.
Sure.
Because even, for example, it might be an Airbnb, and then you are a classy person, and you are now investing in your Camps Bay, Sea Point. You understand? Then, then we are talking.
Sure.
But you can't be like, well, now you are staying in the suburbs, and you are comfortable there, and then you can't relate to there at the bottom.
Sure.
We understand. And then when you wanna bring your class in a multi-let there it's about functionality. Yeah. So then a person will put like over-capitalize that particular property in that market.
Sure.
And then have you ever found a property that you like, it doesn't belong here?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Like it's out of place.
Sure.
And it's nice.
It's
like
nice,
it's great.
Yeah.
But where it is, it's not.
Yeah.
That's why even from a selling perspective, then people want to sell that property for a ridiculous amount.
Yeah.
And it does not work. Or you want to rent out this property for 5,000 in a 2,000 market. Whether you have put in the bond, everything nice and make it's still, you find it's empty.
Yeah.
Because it's the market.
Sure.
Yeah. Sure. Yes, there are times where we can basically create a market.
Yeah.
Okay. But it's a risky thing as well. Yeah. So there are places that were highlighted or amplified because somebody took a risk.
Sure.
And say, here in Alexander, I'm going to make apartments very nice. And of course, now it has amplified the area. So if you go to Alexander, for example, it's another market that people underrate. You can actually find like a room for 5,000.
It's expensive there.
In Alexander. Like there.
Alex is expensive. Alex is expensive.
Yeah.
I've seen those Boma 1.2. When I get in there, I'm like, this is small. But it's 1.2.
Alex.
5,000.
Alex. But it's because people took the chance.
Yeah.
Okay.
To do that. Like a room. We're not talking about an apartment.
An apartment, a room.
A room.
Sure.
5K.
Yeah.
Does it come with parking?
No.
Aye. Some of them, they don't even have parking. But have you seen Alexander? It's like the spaces are small.
The spaces are small.
Yeah.
But it's 5K.
Yes.
So it's because they took a risk.
They took a risk. Somebody amplified it and made it like Lani place. Right. I mean, you look at even Orlando. You go there, Boma Villa Gazi there.
Sure, our Villa makes sense.
Because of,
the
tourists and stuff. But somebody took a chance to make it look like that.
Sure.
Yeah, your DKs and whatnot, and all of these kind of areas. So it's all about really you can take a chance, but there are places where
But
the chance there.
With chance, I think you'd have to. It has to be something broad, because if it's like there go Alex, maybe let's say go Stuetla, and then you just put your nice apartment there. That only one is going to sabotage you.
So because you see, like at least there East Bank,
sure,
Tutumani, yes, because it's also closer to the warehouses.
Yeah. Hi, Mr. Kev. Hi, Raikwala, no. Even things are switching off.